Welcome to the Diane McClay Show, empowering life through choice. Get ready to discover new perspectives, motivation, and balance through Diane's compassionate storytelling and insightful discussions. Whether you're feeling stuck and discouraged or curious and looking for more possibilities, Diane has your back, and she's ready to take you on a journey of self-discovery and expansion. Choice is powerful, and so are you. The Diane McClay Show starts now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Diane McClay Show, where we are here to empower your life and engage your choice. And I am just coming off of one of the funniest interviews I just finished with two of my good friends, my good mentors. These next two ladies on my show are going to help us have healthy choices around the holidays, not just eating, but ways of being. And we think that's important. These Denise Stegall and Suzanne Taylor-King are two of my mentors. They're my new friends from the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group. These women are funny, they're vibrant, they're engaging, they're knowledgeable, and oh my gosh, we're going to have to jam pack a whole lot into the next 30 minutes. If you're joining us, this is part two. We are doing a Thanksgiving special back-to-back where The Crooked Climb features the first part of the interview, and you can catch that at 3:30 Eastern time on the second and fourth Fridays of the month. And my show comes on at, well, 1:30 Pacific, so that's 3:30. So I guess it is back-to-back. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, Suzanne Taylor-King is a life and business coach for entrepreneurs and practice owners who elevate their life, master their performance, and accelerate their success from the inside out. And Denise Stegall is the curator and CEO of Living Healthy List, and her areas of expertise include healthy living lifestyle, eating healthy, real food, making good decisions, which is a good crossover to choice and courage, and accountability. Friends, ladies, welcome in. Oh my gosh. Part two, we were talking about healthy ways, healthy choices in the beginning, and now we're going to talk about healthy ways of being. One of the two of you pick up the ball, run with it. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what's important to you about the way you be around the holidays.
Okay, if you don't mind, I will start.
Yeah,
Hi,
go.
everyone. So I actually wrote down, one of the things that I always say, my pillars to success in my business and with my clients is eat real food, make good decisions, and be accountable. And I have stood by that for a long time. What I realized a few months ago during a conversation with Miss Diane McClay was there was more to that. So that's kind of like, those are the pillars, but what is that, what's that next step? How do you do that? And this holiday season will be a little different because I'm actually going to follow what I now call the 3 Ps. You'll remember this, Diane: to plan, to prioritize, and to prepare. So the plan piece, if you're going to visit somebody for the holiday, if you're going out to dinner, if you're going to a potluck type of holiday celebration, Thanksgiving, whatever it might be, to plan ahead, kind of know, okay, whenever we go to this really big buffet, there's a ton of food, plan ahead, have a breakfast beforehand. You don't want to show up at a buffet absolutely famished, because then you're just going to eat everything in sight. And that's not going to really help your healthy habits. We don't want to, deny ourselves during the holiday season, but we also have to be smart about it too. And so just planning ahead of time is a big part of that. And then prioritizing is that next step. So if you're going to go to 2 or 3 different places on Thanksgiving or during the holiday season, celebrations, what are the things that you're going to do there? Okay, there's 5 of them that we're going to go to. You can't eat at 5 different places. So prioritize, at Mary's, I'm going to have, I'll have a cocktail and an appetizer. The next place I'll have our main course. Whatever that might be, is to really think about it ahead of time and then really prioritize what's important to you. If dessert is really what's important to you, go for it.
Suzanne's over there like, yeah.
Dessert.
Yeah.
You actually
Extra
mentioned
whipped cream,
earlier,
please.
Diane, something about somebody had a healthy pecan pie recipe, and you almost lost me at pecan pie recipe.
Yeah.
And the third step to that, the third P, is to prepare. So you can, plan ahead, prioritize what you want to do, but then you literally have to physically prepare yourself for the event. mentally, physically kind of get yourself ready. Because if you don't, all the planning and prioritizing in the world is going to go out the window. You're going to walk in, someone's going to hand you a cocktail. 6 cocktails later, you're still standing by the door. So those are the 3 things that for me has really started to change my outlook on a lot of things. And so I'm personally going to be working with the 3 Ps this holiday season for myself.
I love that. I would love to say yes and to the 3 Ps, and to look at it from not just a food standpoint, to look at it from an emotional standpoint. One of the big things over the holidays is, you might be with people or family who maybe you don't get along with perfectly, or maybe there's been something from the past that's a struggle. And if you plan and prepare ahead of time, I really feel like that emotional intelligence piece that I teach and coach with my clients, I feel like you can accelerate that process and really stay grounded from the inside out, be less reactive, be more compassionate, be more caring. And one of the things I'm going to give a tip, because I love giving tips, is if you have that person in your family, could be a sibling, could be a parent, could be, a cousin, who triggers that within you, to see that person this year as a child, to see them as a 5, 6, 7-year-old, and what are they really asking for by behaving badly or not being as nice or as polite as they could be? What do they really need? Is it a hug? Is it some extra compassion, some extra empathy? And sometimes it's just a little extra attention or spotlight. And to really stand in that awareness, and it becomes more of a social experiment where you can be the best version of yourself rather than reacting to other people's bad behavior.
I want to chime in on that, and here's where my brain goes. On your show, you asked me, you talked about how my brain works, and that I can see things and I can sort of coalesce and synthesize things. So what I just heard is Denise in her program has 3 Ps: plan, prioritize, and prepare.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that you and I, Suzanne, have been working on is the 4th P, which is positive intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my P is perspective. So if we encourage all of our listeners to take the 5 Ps, the 3 from Healthy Living list, plan, prioritize, and prepare, the 4th one from you, Suzanne Taylor-King, and mine, which is perspective, they should have a lot of tools to really get through some of the more difficult parts of the holidays. Perspective is, can you see it? Tagging on what you said, can you see something from someone else's viewpoint? If you dropped your expectations, if you dropped your judgment, and if you just showed up as the observer, right? Holiday movies are on, football is on, we are watchers of TV shows and movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you adopted the mindset that you were just going to go into your family and watch, right? And then choice comes in, because if you don't like what you're seeing, you can flip the channel. You can go to another room. You can step outside. You can go get a slice of turkey or pie or that extra martini that's hanging out at the door, right? But think about, like, doesn't that feel powerful and engaging when we have 5 things that, one of 5 things that we could grab at any point in time to make our holiday more about being rather than reacting? You both are nodding your heads. What's hitting?
Yeah, I just think, as I've gotten older and done more internal work on myself under the guise of becoming a better coach, it's interesting that perspective and being able to see things from that inside out perspective is really what's made all the difference in my own life, but I didn't go out there and learn that for me. It was under the, oh, I need to do this in order to be a better coach or better at my job. And that's what's so fascinating about this work, whether you're working on your food choices, your life choices, or your emotional choices. it, it becomes this journey of becoming the best version of yourself, and it doesn't matter as much what other people are doing.
Mhm. I think it is really important, Diane. I mean, you use the word choice I mean, it's who you are. It's that choice and courage. But I think most of us really drop that idea of we have a choice when it comes to everything in our life. Like you said,
Mhm.
sometimes we don't have a choice of what happens to us. Things sometimes happen in life, situations happen. But I think, as you get older, you realize that it's your life. If you want to be in control, you absolutely can. And I think, and it really does across the board when it comes to what you're eating, if you're exercising, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you speak to people. All of those things really do boil down to, it's an internal choice, but it is yours.
Right.
Ooh.
You know what, with my clients and Suzanne and you both have helped me kind of start to frame out how I can build a program to help people. And in our own ways, we've all talked about generating awareness, right? We talked about, for me personally, I like to help people create options. We talked about that earlier on the show about maybe there's some different ways people could celebrate their holidays with their family. My niece and nephew, so my niece just recently got married. And I'm strongly encouraging them when they go home for them to get an Airbnb where they can be themselves and they can have their time to be a couple, because this is their first year as a married couple, that they're kind of starting the push-pull of in-laws, extra family, how much time here, how much time there. And I literally said, what if you guys just got an Airbnb central to both sides of your family? And then you decide when you're going to go to one house or the other. And then you actually have more power to decide when you leave. Hey, I'm getting tired. I need to go home and take a nap. Right? If they make a choice to go home and be a new married couple in either of their parents' house, what tends to happen as human beings is we all tend to go back and be the child.
Mhm.
Right? Or we feel obligated to not step on those triggers that we used to have when we were single individual people, right? And so, like, that's an example of just reframing things with awareness, creating options and creating choice. So, each of you, talk to me a little bit about what are some things you teach your clients or that you've done in your own life to be who you want to be, especially when you're around family or stressful situations.
You want me to go first on that one, Denise?
Go for it.
I would say the most important thing for myself and my clients is that personal awareness of your emotions. Most people only have 3 or 4 go-to emotions. They're angry, they're frustrated, or they're happy. And I think the first step is realizing there's so many more emotions than that. There's more detail to it than that. And being able to describe how you're feeling, not only for yourself, but for other people, I think is super important. So that would be step number 1 for me. Um, to be more aware of those different emotions. Am I depressed right now? Am I lonely? Am I anxious? And really being able to define why, what, and how about those emotions. I think when you can do that, you are more likely to be present in your body, your thoughts, your actions, and more connected to other people when you're more in touch with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking notes while you're writing. Denise, do you want to tag on to that?
Yep, I know. I take my notes too. That's why I am paying attention. I'm just taking my notes. I actually think it's important to start with the why. Why are you doing XYZ? Why are you going home to your parents? Why do you feel this way? Why is it important? why is your family, why does your family trigger you? And to figure out, I think they say, ask yourself why 5 times. So whatever the question may be, why does my family trigger me? Why do they trigger me? Well, they're always argumentative. Well, why are they argumentative? Because they all live in the same house. Well, why do they all live in the same house? Well, because there's an upstairs, downstairs, and mom has an apartment, and nephew hasn't, is still in college, so really kind of digging down into, okay, why is this even happening? Why do I even feel this way? And then the more you kind of drill down, the more you understand kind of on a basis level, like, okay, what's really happening? And once you know what's happening, it takes some of the emotion out of it. It takes a lot of the frustration, but it also all of a sudden brings that aha where you're like, oh, I get it. And then you can make that choice to think differently, feel differently, act differently. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to act differently. You need to understand a little bit more why that's important, why this is happening. So that's where I would stay.
I'm going to tag on to that. And once you ask the why, I think one of the next question is what is here for me to learn? Right? I cannot change anybody in my family.
That's true.
I can't. I can say, I want you to do it this way. I need you to do it this way. It's important for you to do it this way. How come you don't think of my feelings when you don't do it this way? But until the other person does their own work and can see things from a different perspective, I cannot change them. And Suzanne, the work that you and I have done with positive intelligence and understanding that there's 2 sides of our brain, right? There's the side that has the judge, and then there's the side that has the sage, the wise person. When I can say, what lesson is this presenting to me? What can I learn about me? How can I show up differently, not to change someone else, but how can I show up with a better version of myself? What is this experience supposed to teach me? I think that the why starts to become more powerful. And I just want to recap this for the audience, because I think these are good 4 steps. Suzanne is talking about identify the emotion that you're having, and she talked about referencing it in your body. And then she's talking about actually identifying if there are different emotions that you want to feel or could feel. And then we talked about how else can we be, and Denise is then encouraging us to really understand the why. Let's get in and let's have some personal accountability, and let's use good decisions to understand what's going on in our own mind. And then I'll cap it off with, what can I learn? And as soon as the work that you and I've done in that 6-week class with positive intelligence, I have to tell you, I feel like I'm a pretty positive person. I felt like that before I took the class with you. But what I know now is I get to choose. Every minute of the day. I get to choose if and how I respond to someone, rather than reacting and hoping I can fix the other person. You guys want to extend on that at all? You're both nodding your heads.
I think it's really powerful that you had that awareness, and though we had so many good conversations in that, 7-week time period that we were together doing that. And I will say that I think what we could take away from that is, when you are more aware of your own limiting beliefs, your own emotions, your own self-sabotage, whatever keeps you from your goals, whether it's avoiding, whether it's being a perfectionist, whether it's, being a controller and needing to control other people, whatever it is, when you realize that it's only a thought that is creating that, it's just a thought. So if it's just a thought creating the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I can't charge this amount, I can't do this. If it's just a thought, that means it can be changed through choice and courage. And that, I think, is the most, when you get to that point in your personal development, your personal growth, and you could get there at 10 years old, you could get there at 60 years, it doesn't matter. But when you get there, it's like this world opens up for you that you can be more positive in any situation, be more proactive in any situation. And being more positive isn't about being happy and, la la all the time. It's not about being happy all the time. It's about being able to look forward to the future with hope, optimism.
Absolutely. I think it's important for people to realize, you say, it's just a thought. Thoughts are fleeting, but so are emotions. They are, they're here and they're here 1 minute and they're gone the next. They change so often. And I think it's important for us to realize that, because then we're not getting stuck in any one thought or emotion. And so sure, you have a negative thought, you have a negative emotion or negative situation. It happens, let it go. Move beyond it. And I think that's a big part of all of this, is the letting go piece. Uncle Joe said something last Thanksgiving that, upset you. Okay, one, it was a year ago. Uncle Joe probably didn't really mean it. He probably doesn't even remember what he said.
Or let me tag into that. Maybe he did mean it a year ago. But we all know that who we are today is not the same person we were a year ago. So and true. If there's an audience member, I challenge an audience member. If you are, first of all, if you are the person who says, I've never changed, I'm exactly the same person I was a year ago or 5 years ago, please, for the love of God, reach out to Suzanne Taylor-King, reach out to Denise Stegall, reach out to me, because the question would be is, are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Because there is a way to get out of that stuckness. And we all, three of us, have actually relied on each other to get out of our own way, to get out of our own overwhelm, and to get out of our own stuckness. But if you are one of those people who said, yeah, damn straight, I'm not the same person as I was a year ago, also reach out to us, because we want to celebrate you and we want to celebrate that. And we want to learn from you what is working in your life. And is there a way that we could help continue that momentum, right? So even if he did mean it, first of all, what can you change about you if you're the one holding on to it for a year? How is that serving you? Denise, I interrupted you, so do you want to kind of go back to that thought a little bit?
No, it's fine. I think sometimes when families get together, even when friends get together, there's, you never know what's going on in that person's head. Everybody's got so many things going on, and people say things. Sometimes people say things without actually thinking about what they're saying or how they're saying it. For example, like my mom has a habit of saying, well, that was dumb. And it irritates my sister to the point where she flies off the handle. And my mom has been saying this to me and my sister since the day we were born, I think. And I've gotten to a point where I'll just kind of look at her and I'll go, you know what, you're right, that was dumb. And it's not, she doesn't mean it, well, you're a stupid person. She's like, well, whatever you just did wasn't the smartest thing. And it's incredibly obvious, but it's really the way that, if my mom would say it in a different way, maybe my sister would take it differently. But again, this is something that they've both done for a long time. And part of that is, the choice piece. But I think another piece of this is to be aware of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am always amazed, first of all, when we're on a hot topic, when we have got to do a roundtable or we have got to do an expert panel where we can extend these conversations out a little bit more, because I can never believe how quickly the time goes with us. Before we have to sign off, we've talked about choice. We've talked about awareness. We've talked about owning it, asking the question why. We've talked about understanding how you are. And really what we're asking or listening to do is learn how to nourish, move, and be, which is what you guys cover on the Crooked Climb. Will you articulate to our audience how people can work with you if they feel like they've never changed, and also how they can connect with you if they feel like they have, but they need a little bit of support?
Sure. Just real quickly, I'll just quickly say, go on to livinghealthylist.com. Check us out on Facebook and on YouTube. We do have a really exciting coaching membership that will be starting in January. if you're somebody who just wants to look at coaching for the first time, dip your toe in the water, that's a great opportunity for you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Suzanne?
My website, SuzanneTaylor-King.com, has a couple new resources for entrepreneurs on the resource page. And I would also invite you to join my Facebook group, the Idea Lab for Entrepreneurs, which is also on LinkedIn, my expanding community of followers on LinkedIn.
Excellent. And I'm just going to give a testimonial to both of you two. These two women are movers and shakers. They are inspiring. I have worked with Denise Stegall and with Suzanne Taylor-King personally to be a better version of myself. So don't miss the opportunity to connect with them or me. One easy way to get a hold of all three of us is we are actually founding members of the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group app. You can get it on Google or Apple Play Store. What we want you to do is download it for free. Install it on your phone. When you open it up, become a member. That gives you access to all of the new information that we're providing. We have universal questions that will lead you to private journals that you can start keeping for yourself about choice, courage, accountability, business practices, all of that. And that's the one-stop shop to really connect to all three of us, plus a bunch of other people in our networking group, KS as in Sam Media Group app. I'm going to close this out unless you have a parting word for the holidays on how to be. Nothing?
I would just say, enjoy the holidays, make good decisions, eat real food, and truly enjoy and don't feel guilty about anything. You can always go back to your healthy lifestyle on Cyber Monday.
Exactly.
Beautiful said. Beautifully said.
Suzanne, thank you. Suzanne, Denise, thank you for being here. Thank you for being mentors to me and friends to me and for bringing your inspiration into the world and for sharing it on the Diane McClay Show. I'm your host, Diane McClay, where we're always here to empower your life by engaging your choice. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the Diane McClay Show, where you are empowered to enact change in your life through choice. You know that little voice in your head that's been telling you to pursue that passion project? Or maybe it's been screaming for you to go outside and explore the great outdoors. That voice is you, and you deserve to be heard. Listen, make a choice, make a change, and watch yourself grow. For more information about Diane or to work with her personally, visit DianeMcClay.com.